What's going on, everyone? Austin here, and if you're like me, you looked at the F1 calendar this weekend and thought to yourself, sweet, it's a sprint race. Personally, I absolutely love sprint races. I think they add a whole new aspect to the sport that is more than welcome. However, you might have seen F1 come out with something saying, okay, the sprint races of last season? Forget those. We're going to go to a whole new sprint race kind of format, which I think when I first read it was a little confusing, but I was able to kind of track everything down, and I'm going to explain all the changes that came to the new sprint weekend format. And the best way that I can put it is that the sprint race on Saturday, yes, still for points, is going to be a standalone race. Now, these sprint races, these new sprint weekends are going to be taking place at the following Grand Prix this season. Obviously, this week in Azerbaijan, Austria, Belgium, Qatar, in the US, and at Brazil. So these races are going to have this new sprint weekend that, after some thinking about, really could do some good for the sport. Now, I want to hear what you think. Do you all like sprint week races? We saw it last season with the introduction of these sprint races. What did you think of them? Did you like them? Did you not? I want to hear in the comments, so please let me know. If you like Formula One content on YouTube, please consider subscribing. Now let's get right into it. So here's what the structure of the weekend is going to look like. On Friday, this looks just like the old, sprint race weekend. You have a practice one and then your Grand Prix qualifying. Now here's something that's different. This Grand Prix qualifying is going to be for Sunday. So if you remember last season, the qualifying that happened on Friday was for the sprint race. But now it's basically they just moved a normal race weekends qualifying from Saturday to Friday because, again, the sprint race is its own standalone event. So on Friday, you have practice one and then the Grand Prix qualifying, which will set the grid order for Sunday. Then on Saturday, it's all sprint Saturday. You have what's called the new sprint shootout. And what that is just this right here. It's almost like a qualifying session, except a little more compact. So honestly, it'll probably be a little more hectic. You have a 12-minute Q1 where all cars have to run the medium tire, and then the 5 slowest cars are eliminated. Then you have Q2, which lasts for 10 minutes. Again, all cars are mandatory to run the medium tire, and then the 5 slowest are eliminated. Then you get to Q3, which is only 8 minutes. No room for error here, and with a mandatory soft tire. So that's when cars will be going all out. The top cars going the fastest. And then you wait a few hours, and of course later that day you have the F1 Sprint. Now this race will be, I believe, 11 laps here at Azerbaijan this weekend. And that'll run just like they did last season, where first place gets 8 points and eighth place gets 1 point. So this whole standalone Saturday kind of sprint action, the sprint shootout, and the F1 sprint are all just to award some teams some more points. And now, yes, this will allow some of the bottom teams to possibly score more points, since the qualifying times in the sprint shootout are more packed together, being only 12 minutes, 10 minutes, and then 8 minutes. If there's a red flag or something along those lines, it really can kind of screw up this order for the sprint race later in the day. So I think that will cause a little bit more of a hectic qualifying, which means hopefully we can see some of the lower tier cars and drivers starting, a little higher up in the sprint race to at least get some points for their team. But then, of course, you move on to Sunday, and it's the Friday qualifying that makes the difference. That you can forget that the sprint ever even happened at that point. All that matters is the Friday qualifying, where you can presume you'll see the Red Bulls, the Aston Martins, the Mercedes, and the Ferraris on top, and that'll be like nothing ever changed. That's just a normal race. So please let me know what you all think of these on here in the comments. Do you think that this new standalone sprint race is going to be more successful than last season's sprint race, where it actually played a role in the race, or not? Consider subscribing. I'll make a video after all this goes down to see if it really made a difference, what people are saying about it, and if sprint races have a role in Formula One going on in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you next video.